All right, pre-meds, you are taking the MCAT this year, you're applying this year, then you need to be up to date on everything that's happening with MCAS, MCAT, and COVID. This video is gonna help you out, check it out. But stop making excuses, stop whining, stop, right? Get at it. No excuses, just dominate. All right, so this is the first video in a multi-video set where I'm gonna be bringing you guys updates on the latest that's happening on MCAS. So make sure you keep coming back, you subscribe, turn on notifications, that way you know when I bring you the most up-to-date, the most current information. But more importantly than the information, I'm gonna tell you guys what the changes, what the announcements mean for you and your action plan going forward. I'm Dr. Andre Pinesett. In case you didn't know, this is your first time joining us, welcome, what is up? I bring you guys trustworthy, actionable advice for your student life and for your pre-med life, so that way you can get past all your excuses, past all your obstacles, and find your greatness, find your domination. All right, so the AAMC just made a major announcement about MCAT test dates and what it means to the application cycle. So I wanted to walk you through some of these changes. In this video, we will discuss the first change, which is that the MCAT, and this is the biggest one I think people are most concerned about, is that the MCAT is changing lengths. Oh my gosh. The MCAT is being shortened, going from well over 7 hours, 7.5 hours, down to 5 hours, 45 minutes. I'm losing an hour and 45 minutes worth of test. What are they doing to us? The world is ending. Students are dealing with it. But the reality is, guys, right? I'm getting those messages, but the reality is it's going to be okay, and we have to look beyond the general announcement to understand what the details of this are and what it means for your preparation. Because based on this, there are some things you have to understand, you may have to tweak about your preparation. So the test is going from 7.5 hours to 5 hours and 45 minutes. The way the test administrators are doing this is that they are eliminating many of the administrative, I guess, steps you have to take the test. So the tutorial, so the instructions, some other things, they're trimming that fat to get you in and out of the room faster. Additionally, people are concerned, wait a minute, they're cutting the test length down, they're cutting out questions, this is gonna affect the curve. Not really, because they're removing questions. Every time they offer the MCAT, the test administrators want to test questions, right? They want to see, before they make questions valid as part of your grade and affect the MCAT curve, they want to see, are these questions good measure of an MCAT score? Meaning, if someone scored really well on the test, how well they do on these sample questions that we're trialing out to see if it doesn't correspond, we're not gonna use those. So every time you sit down to the MCAT, there are questions, you don't know which ones, that are test questions, they're being trialed to see if they're valid questions and if they're actually gonna be used in future MCAT tests. So what the administrators have done to crush down on the time is that they've eliminated between 5 and 11 questions, depending on the section, from those sections which are sample or trial questions. And so you will no longer have those, and so what that does is it shortens each time interval by that many questions and the associated time of those questions. So for you guys who are worried, like, wait a minute, should I rush and take the MCAT? Should I wait and take the MCAT? The curve's gonna be thrown off. It's the exact same curve. The only thing is you're not doing the extra things that the test makers benefit from. You're just focusing on what's gonna get you the score. Does that make sense to everybody? If that's making sense to you right now, if you understand what I'm saying right now, like this video, let me know. Comment, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking? What was your first reaction when you heard this news? Okay, so that's the first part. The second part of this, and that you guys are maybe kind of like, ooh, well, wait a minute. If the test length is changing, how does that affect my approach to the test? And how does that affect my actual test day? And how will that affect the curve? So as I already mentioned, it won't affect the curve really that much, but what it will do is change the difficulty of the test. There are some major, I guess, 3 major things that make the MCAT difficult. The first is the length of the exam. The second is the time limit per section, meaning you run out of time. And the third thing is the sheer volume of content you have to know for the MCAT. When you take a test that used to be longer per section and longer overall, and you shrink it, you reduce one of those obstacles, which is the stamina it takes to maintain your focus for 7.5 hours. We can all sit there and technically take a test for 7.5 hours, but how many of us can maintain our focus, can maintain our high level critical thinking and our powerful thinking, our cognitive processes during that test? It's harder. So if we shorten the test, we lower the burden on us of having to hold our attention and our focus for 7.5 hours. So it's great for you guys who suffer from attention lapses and getting worn down, and you feel like, oh, I start strong my first couple sections, by the end of the test I'm so tired I can't hang. For you guys, this is a great opportunity because now you don't have to push yourself to those limits to say, focus, focus, focus. You're shaving off an hour and a half. That's an hour and a half less you have to practice self-discipline during your test. Does that make sense, everybody? So it's kind of cool in that sense if you suffer from attention. However, one thing that I thought about and I thought was kind of weird is that they've eliminated the lunch break. So the way I think about this is twofold. One, for a typical student, that lunch break might be a nice opportunity to step out, stretch your legs, get some nutrients in you, get some new caffeine, get back focused for the second half of the test. So you need that break to be able to maintain your attention span for the rest of the test. For some of you guys who are my students, I work with a lot of students in my MCAT course and in my 5 Pillars of Studying Less and Get Better Grades course who have learning disabilities. And if you've heard me speak before, if you have a learning disability, I feel like we all are on some spectrum of learning issue, of focus deficit, of reading deficit, because we often aren't taught how to learn, how to stay focused, how to be productive. So when I work with these students, I help them understand that you have a disability, you must work around it, you must work differently. And in the case that you have a very severe intellectual disability, there is nothing wrong with A, getting diagnosed, and B, receiving accommodations to level the playing field. Never let anybody make you feel bad. If you're a student out there and you have possibly, probably, or you've been diagnosed with learning disability, don't let people make you feel bad. You are capable, you are competent, and it's okay to get the support you need to make it an even playing field. And so I have multiple students who get accommodations. Either they get longer per section, they're able to take more frequent breaks, whatever it might be. And I wonder now with this new timing shift, if those students are still gonna be accommodated. I don't know the answer to that, but that's something that if I'm a student, if you're a student out there and you've received accommodations, I would definitely double check to make sure they're still gonna honor that, because that's not right if they're gonna take that away from you. And I would definitely fire off about that if I were you to protect your own rights. So that's what I would say is, this test now is going to move faster. You don't have to hold your attention as long, so that's cool. The other thing I'll say is with this shortening of the test and with this reduction in questions, the other question becomes, well, wait a minute. If there's fewer questions, does that mean the test is going to be easier in the sense that they're not going to be able to test us about as many things? And the key line that was in their announcement was, you will still be responsible for all the material you were supposed to know. So I believe that the MCAT will still be just as wide in breadth, particularly because you're not really losing any questions. You're losing questions that don't count towards your overall score. You're still going to be required to learn all of the material. But with that said, one of the key things I teach my students is you should go about the MCAT, because it is so much content, you should go basics first and focus on the basics, focus on your critical thinking, particularly because over half of the MCAT, I don't know if you knew this, doesn't actually require prior knowledge and really is about critical thinking and critical reading. So what I encourage you to do is focus on boosting those critical thinking skills, focus on basics first and then move to advanced, and then it will level out. Don't worry about the test, okay? So I think the overall part, this is part one, we're talking about more of these announcements we come up in the next couple days here, but the first thing I want you guys to understand is these are changes, they are occurring, they seem very stressful, they seem like a lot is happening, and there are some students right now who are panicking, acting like the world is on fire. I encourage all of you guys to recognize this is not an insurmountable obstacle. This is not even necessarily more difficult. It is just different. And we have to adjust. We have to be willing to change with this, willing to go with this, and not let a change throw us off mentally for our prep, or throw us off in actual action and make us procrastinate, make us step away from what we're supposed to be doing to prepare for the test date. So I want all of you guys out there, as you leave this video, no matter what changes are announced in the future, I want you guys to all recognize you can still get a great MCAT score, you still can get into medical school, but you've got to put in the work, you've got to put in the preparation, and you can't get distracted with other people's stress and turn it into your stress. You know what I'm saying? Focus on you and what you can do and what you control to get your score. I'm Dr. Andre Pinesett. I am the Study Doc, guys. I thank you for being here. If this is your first time, like I said, subscribe. Hit that little bell, turn on live notifications so that way you know when I'm live or when I have a new video, so you stay informed. And if you enjoyed this video, or if you have some thoughts on the MCAT, you want something you want me to touch on for the MCAT, comment in the box below, guys. I read those comments and I create video topics off of that. I'm doing this video because students messaged me. So take a second, comment in the box below, let me know your thoughts, what you're thinking, and what you're gonna change in your preparation to get ready for this shorter exam. All right, guys, thank you so much. My website is studenttransformation.com. If you want a course, if you want a program, in the description box below, I have a free 3-hour MCAT webinar. You can register right now, get 3 hours with me breaking down what you need to do for the MCAT to maximize your prep. Thank you for joining me. We always end the same way, guys. How do we end? No excuses, just dominate. I'll see you guys next time. Today is the day, guys. No more excuses, no more complaining. You're going to take your future in your own hands. You're going to dominate. You're going to be successful. Get to my website, studenttransformation.com. I challenge you. What are you going to do today to make your life better?